Good late Thursday, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center giving you the latest on some colder temperatures infiltrating our region. You can see here that light blue on the map here is indicative of a freeze warning in play for many of our Georgia counties here. I know in southeast Georgia, we're talking about Waycross to the north, getting toward Pierce County there, Coffee County. But then as we get toward south central and southwestern Georgia, you see even more of those included. I know as we're getting toward Moultrie there, Colquitt County, Albany, Dougherty County, Lee County there around Leesburg. We're talking about Early County there, Decatur County, so Bainbridge, Seminole County, so Donaldsonville. So you kind of get the idea. Some freezing conditions possible here in that light blue. Now you also see a darker type blue on the map here, not in our covered area, but you see McIntosh County there, upward up toward areas there in South Carolina in spots. That's a frost advisory. Now, we could have some patchy frost here as we even get into toward north central Florida, but not enough of a concern for an actual advisory to be issued by the National Weather Service offices. So, just something to keep in mind there. But there's temperatures to the north definitely cooler than what we're expecting to the south. But right now, temperatures haven't fallen really far here at this point. But I'll show you some of our different readings here. I know we have those temperature readings that we can pull up right now. You see mid-upper 40s, the story here, 45 toward Albany, 44 toward Douglas. You see mid-upper 40s here, the stories we get toward North Florida as well. Gainesville sitting at 50 as they go ahead and move the map down just a little bit here. You kind of see that. And then when we're out here east of Stark, we're at 48 degrees here, the latest reading from our thermometers. So again, just trying to give you guys an idea of some of these temperatures and how they're breaking down in your community right now here on this Thursday. I know we're taking a chat over here looking in the corner of my eye from time to time because I know we have a situation up toward Buffalo, a significant lake effect snow event up there. We'll be diving more into that here in just a moment, but I want to start off with the local weather here. I know we'll be watching that up toward Buffalo. If we have to do some special streams for that in terms of the radar on maybe Twitter and YouTube, we may go ahead and turn the logo red because it could be that serious of an event for those folks. But it's a more regional type event at this point, but could be a really big story just because of the amount of snow that could fall up there. But no snow expected in our area. That's the good news. I mean, obviously, even if we had just an inch of snow down here, it'd be a really big deal. But up there, obviously, an inch of snow is not necessarily a big deal, but they've had 6 inches of snow up there in a pretty short bit of time. So that just kind of tells the weather story. We'll go ahead and go to our other computer because we're seeing a little bit of precipitation trying to set up in our area, though. So let's go ahead and dive into that just a little bit here. We'll go ahead and set that to you here on this Thursday. You see a little bit of precipitation, maybe trying to evolve there toward Levy County there. Maybe toward Gilchrist County, Dixie County, but nothing too noteworthy there at this point. You see temperatures there in the 40s. Again, most of the areas, some areas still in the 50s, a couple spots trying to get closer toward the 30s, more out of our covered area right now, up toward Americus and up toward, it looks like Baxley there, but we'll just keep our eyes on things here as we're looking at some of our different maps here in the Weather Center. Again, a freeze warning in place to kind of protect some of those plants as we're getting toward areas like Waycross, Albany here, Donaldsonville, Bainbridge. You kind of get the idea. We'll be watching all that for you there. As we're looking toward those counties. I know you can get the latest alert information there at clouds_WDX on Twitter. That automated account tweets that information out. Not an area-wide freeze by any stretch, but still an important thing to mention for those folks up there. And then toward the weekend, we could have some precipitation trying to edge back in here. Some of our higher-res models are picking up on that. And I want to just be kind of careful with it because sometimes this time of year we've seen it before where we could have more rain coming in the forecast here than what the models are showing initially. So even though it says maybe lighter rain, could be enough to have an impact on some of those outdoor events here. So we'll be breaking that down with our rainfall chances here in a bit. But let's get up toward western New York right now. We're going to get up toward the Buffalo area, and I'll put this in winter mode. I mean, first off, though, in regular area, you see this, these darker greens are pretty high rates there of precipitation. In this case, snow here that's falling. And it was kind of trying to move away from Buffalo here, but now it's entrenched right along the Buffalo area here. This corridor of snow really as we zoom in tighter. This is some very heavy snow here right now as we're getting towards some of these different communities. It looks like this is some dangerous driving conditions here that are setting up. These are some dangerous driving conditions setting up for sure. And then near downtown Buffalo there, It looks like just getting a lot of snow in downtown Buffalo, to be precise, near Buffalo General. 6 inches there of snow is reported. Erie County, New York. I know some folks are being ordered to not be on the roads here because of these dangerous conditions. I know you see Orchard Park just to the south, and the Buffalo Bills game there got moved out of that town because of the dangerous conditions. It's not necessarily for the game itself, but because of public safety concerns, because the resources need to be freed up here, because we're talking about there's so much snow. I mean, we could be talking about feet of snow here. We are going to be at this point for sure. Already seeing these numbers mounting up, but there's some indications here in the model guidance that we could be talking about 4 feet of snow, which, I mean, that's just something you really don't want to have to say on air, but that's definitely a possibility. We had this happen a while back, and we had roofs collapsing there on homes there, so not a good situation. We just got to be careful, because this much snow in this sort of a period of time, it can really cause problems, wreak havoc here, lead to deadly accidents. I mean, even a little bit of snow can do that in some circumstances, but it's just going to be a situation where this could be a historic event here for this part of the U.S., western New York here. There's so much snow coming in for days here, these waves of snow, lake effect snow, very hard to forecast in general, but the models, the high-res models have just been hidden at home, really hammering at home. I mean, to be quite honest, so we got to hammer it to the viewer here that this could be a very serious event here toward areas there around Buffalo. We're talking about Erie County there. You can see some of these other zones. I'll go ahead and go to our GR level 3 computer right now. So let me go ahead and do that, because I want to just hammer this home a little bit more here, because this is a serious event for these folks here. Let's break down some of these counties that are being impacted right now. I mean, we have some of our lake effect alerts here on this board, so, and some of our temperatures as well. So let me go ahead and see this. You can see that lake effect snow warning here in play. That is in that turquoise color. We're talking about just the extreme event here setting up. I mean, we also have this threat as we get further on over toward the east. You see there on Oswego there. Toward that county, that's the university area there, and then even up toward Watertown, Jefferson County, New York. You see the cold conditions in play, and then as I put some of our radars on, I know we don't have the radar set up for this area at the moment, but they're going to be getting quite a bit of snow up there as well. They're not getting that at this point, but as we look toward the south, let me put this back into winter mode here, because we have a lot of snow in this area. It's a crippling lake effect snowstorm that's now underway, according to the National Weather Service in Buffalo here. Just such a serious event for these folks. I mean, people could be without a method to get out of their homes for days up here toward Buffalo, toward Erie County, New York. So you can see this threat here really, really serious. You see this warning, it's lake effect snowstorm warning, lake effect snow warning here in play for areas like Niagara County here. Also, you see areas around Wyoming County, New York as well. So a nasty event for sure. Just trying to give you guys the latest. You see some of our other county regions here involved. If you can kind of make them out, I try to take up city names just for a second. I know it's hard to read the county names, but I'm just trying to give you guys an idea. You see Genesee County there, so just trying to give you guys an understanding of what's going on for these communities up here. A serious, serious crippling event for areas in western New York. Again, I mean, to have the models, so 4 feet of snow, a real possibility. It's going to be a small corridor. I mean, some areas are going to get very little snow here in the region in general, but other areas, like maybe it looks like Buffalo here, a very highly populated area, could get 4 feet of snow here. There in western New York. Again, that's something we rarely want to say on the air, to be able to forecast something like that, but that's just what the models are showing. This is some very heavy snow there right now. You can see just coming in there. You can see some of this just coming on in off the lake, and there around, it looks like areas there in Canada as well. I mean, you see all that heavy snow. This is interstate. It looks like 190 being impacted, and then as we get over toward the east here, you just see, I mean, that's the radar site where you have that little cone of silence up here. There's snow falling there. It's just we're not able to see it right now. I know one of the TV stations measuring quite a bit of snow already just within a couple hours. We're talking about significant accumulations occurring there. So a nasty situation that's going to continue to worsen here as more snow falls in these areas here. toward western New York, toward Erie County, and areas around Buffalo. Again, the NFL game between Buffalo and Cleveland, because of public safety concerns, being moved out of Buffalo, out of Orchard Park there. Towards southeastern Michigan. So that's a change that's important to take note of, and that means the Bills will be playing 2 games in a row there in Detroit. They'll be playing the Lions on Thursday on Thanksgiving afternoon, or starting actually Thanksgiving morning there in that central time zone. So just wanted to give you guys an update on this because it's a big national story here. We don't generally talk too much about snow here in North Florida, South Georgia, but this is a big deal here. A very big situation for areas there around western New York. You saw Watertown under this threat as well. Maybe not as much Rochester, as they kind of say they're not under this specific type of warning. But then you see here Asa getting up toward Oswego there. Just trying to give you guys an idea of what's going on. And you just see some of these different counties, St. Lawrence, Lewis, Jefferson, Oswego County there included. That's north of Syracuse, maybe not as much in Syracuse it doesn't look like, but again, there's something to watch here with this very dangerous winter storm event. Let's go ahead and go over to the tropics right now. A big culture shift, I guess you could say here, from winter weather bad to talking about the tropics. But luckily, in the here and now, there's not too much to talk about. You can see we have Nicole cross top. We haven't had Owen yet. Maybe we're done for the year. I would like that. I think everybody here in Florida would, after having 2 hurricanes hit the Sunshine State about 6 weeks apart. But no new tropical cyclone formation expected in the next 5 days. So that's some good news here. As we go ahead and see, just again, reviewing Nicole, 5 fatalities from that. That vulnerable Florida East Coast experienced the severe impacts from the surge and the overall setup here, those winds. I mean, just that overall wind direction was just so terrible. Seeing how the winds were just coming on into the picture here, just diving on in, hitting these beaches here. And just, I mean, it was just a day after day event, and it worsened things, caused the beach erosion. I mean, the damage along the coast in Volusia County, just that center area with the building collapses, and then indoor parts of Flagler County, and I know all that sand coming into people's yards, and also even into St. Johns County, some of that road damage as well. So storm that folks in these communities won't forget here. Now, in terms of the Nathan, it's something that isn't going to be as remembered as much as Ian was, but still, all the different impacts. So let's go over them one more time if you missed it on Tuesday. Locally, the highest gust we got 72 miles an hour in Marineland. The St. Johns County Fire Station, a gust of 71 miles an hour. You see Gainesville even 62. I know where we're at here east of Stark. We had our 2 highest readings we've had on our anemometer since we've had it over the last couple of years. It got to 42 in the afternoon hour. It got to 41 in the late morning. So maybe not reading quite as high as some of the anemometers that are a little higher up, but still, I mean, that tells the weather story. Some pretty strong winds for sure. The tropical force gust over a wide area, and then those rainfall totals here. You can see over 4 inches there in multiple spots, 4.46 inches here towards St. Augustine. A couple of areas, similar totals there. The general zone, Fruit Cove there, a little over 4.25. St. John's, the community there, 4.14 inches, and even Keystone here, over 4 inches as well in toward Clay County. But now the water levels, again, just to review this, Nicole there, really, I was up there with some of the storms here in the last 20-25 years that have been ones to remember. Irma number 1 toward the South Bank Riverwalk there in Jacksonville. Jean number 2, and Nicole took a very similar track to Jean, and it was number 3 here toward Jacksonville proper. Just getting that inundation level up there, and then toward Mayport there. We saw the inundation level pretty high as well. Number 2 on the list there. I know Fernandina pretty high up on the list as well toward Nassau County. So telling that weather story. And then Ian, we keep getting those updated numbers in from FDLE. They keep changing here in terms of fatalities. Getting those actually verified in relation to the storm and being able to see those press releases there. We do now have 139 dead there from Hurricane Ian. Just such a tragic event. These numbers could continue to change here with Ian and Nicole. 5 dead from Nicole as the latest update we got in. Now, sometimes we don't get those FDLE press releases quite as quick as other folks. It's something when we go on the website there, sometimes there's a couple of days behind, but 5 dead as of last check from Nicole there, and 139 dead from Ian here. It was 134 when we had that on the air the other day. It's so tragic. Hopefully a calmer Thanksgiving is in store, but you see here, just off the coast here, off of the First Coast, still some higher rainfall amounts possible. So we'll watch to see if anything kind of is nasty toward the coast. Hopefully we don't have too nasty of conditions, but it's something that we can't rule out here. We'll be watching. That's not something that we want to talk about too much at this point, though. But you see here toward North Florida and South Georgia, you can kind of see here these lighter blues indicative of rainfall amounts over an inch in the next 7 days, and some of this falling here this weekend, but then maybe more of that rain trying to lift in from the south as we look ahead toward about next Tuesday. But right now I have Thanksgiving looking pretty good. I know when we're not on the air, you can go to cloudweather.com/radar for an interactive look at things, and we'll go ahead and say you now those high school football forecasts. Details first, though, and then the college football forecast there. I know it's going to be a game where you want to bundle up here tomorrow night. That'll be the story across our region. This is 2S, 2 Suburban, Region 2, the FHSA playoff game there between the Eastside Rams out of Gainesville and the Bradford Tornadoes. The #1 seed already beat Eastside earlier this year. The Tornadoes will be hosting that game. I have my scarlet and gray here on tonight for that one tomorrow. Hopefully the Tornadoes improve to 11-1 and get that win and move to the next round where they'll play the winner of Baldwin and Baker County there here in Stark, it looks like. But upper 40s here again, just bundle up, small rain chance. Not really concerned about that. I almost put 0 on here, but I decided just to keep a little bit of 1 in here based on this pattern, just to err on the side of caution. I'm not really expecting rain here with these type of conditions, but just bundle up a little bit breezy, not overly windy, but a little bit of a breeze can't be ruled out there. So keep that in mind. It's going to add to the chill there a little bit. So just be careful out there. I mean, that's something where you could get sick, to be quite honest. I mean, if you haven't been exposed to that type of cold for an extended period of time, just be careful out there having this type of temperature. I mean, this is going to be a kickoff here in the upper 40s, and by the end of the game, we'll probably still be in the upper 40s, maybe getting closer to the mid 40s at that point. But I had a bit close call. I just said upper 40s here for the whole duration, pretty much for this forecast. So just bundle up there, wear those layers as needed there, because you don't want to get sick here in any type of situation, especially right before the holidays here in Thanksgiving. But as we look here toward college football now, on Saturday, this game here between the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, UL Lafayette there coming into town. That's where current Gator coach Billy Napier coached last year. He's now in Gainesville. There's Knowles will be taking on the Gators next week. But this week, they're taking on Louisiana. They're out of the Sun Belt Conference. They're 5-5. The Knowles 7-3 here. This game going to be on regional sports networks there. So we're talking about those regional cable channels there. I know it gets a little bit confusing at times, but just check those local listings here. It varies by state, but we're talking about mid to upper 50s here. The temperature trend, 30% chance of rain and play. I know in terms of those local listings, you should be able to get those at the ACC official website there. They have a link in there so you can kind of see what channel it is in your state, your area there. But mostly cloudy, breezy conditions will be the story. So it'll be pretty cool there as well. Maybe not quite as much of a chill as what we're expecting there toward tomorrow night when we don't have the sun out and the daytime heating around at all. But with the mostly cloudy conditions and rain starting to encroach in, we definitely have to be mindful here that it could be kind of cool out there. You can kind of feel that chill for sure. On that Saturday if you're not used to it here. But what a season the Knowles have been having. They're number 19 in the country now in the college football playoff rankings, the highest in 6 years in terms of that ranking, almost 6 years, going back to 2016 there. I know the final rankings would have been a little higher going to the Orange Bowl that year. But looking also, I don't have a graphic in here for it, but the Gators will be traveling up toward Vanderbilt and Nashville to take on the Commodores. That's also a noon kickoff. And we're talking about conditions there, noon Eastern time anyway, where we're seeing those temperatures here in the 40s, give or take. I mean, that's going to be what we're going to have for the high there, those readings in the 40s. So it's going to be cold, downright chilly there in central Tennessee there toward Davidson County. So Again, just trying to give you guys an update on how things are looking here. Downright cold, but Leon County, cool for sure. And you'll still probably want to wear a jacket out there. With these mostly cloudy conditions and that rain chance. Later in the game, some of our high-res models have started to show some action coming in. I remember a game 8 years ago or so. It was a really sad week toward Tallahassee that time of year. It's this time of year now. And I remember the forecast wasn't for much rain, but I wore my poncho just in case. And we ended up having rain throughout that game. Things just kept getting, it seemed like, wetter and wetter for everybody. People had to go home. It was a game against Wake Forest, and just something that you just want to make sure you're ready for, just in case things change. But it's a little bit earlier kickoff. That was a 3:30 kickoff there 8 years ago. So just that forecast looks similar in some ways. So just want to be kind of on guard here with it, with that modeling. Some of the modeling trying to see that rain coming in a little bit later on there in the timeline. So we'll just keep our eyes on that here. And to see how things play on out. But I think the rain chance is more going to be for later in the day. That's why I went with 40% there as we look ahead for later on that Saturday. In general, 40% Sunday there. You can see tomorrow morning I have 35, but again, some of our Georgia counties core, some of those coastal communities warmer obviously here as you have those water temperatures are quite a bit warmer still. But again, just keeping our eyes on things. Pretty cool, that chill around here. Through the weekend, we started to see a warming trend as we get into Monday. I know you see a little bit of rain coming in toward Tuesday, some rain maybe coming in from the south on Tuesday here as these temperatures warm on up. And then I'll step out of the way right now. This could change because the models have had some issues resolving some things, the details. But right now, things look really good. To be honest, maybe the best day here in the 7 for Thanksgiving. Don't get your hopes up because this could still change here. We'll have another update on Tuesday, breaking that all down for you on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. But you see these average highs here. We're actually, maybe just above average. I want to say below average because that's what we are the other days here. Well, maybe just above average here on that Thanksgiving for just not just that low like we'll be on some of these other mornings here with the cloud cover around, but also that high here. For that Thanksgiving as you eat that turkey there or ham or just whatever you enjoy there on Thanksgiving. Things are looking pretty good there for that Thursday in terms of those weather conditions. Again, just kind of showing you that peak one more time there behind me as we're looking toward the day there next week that many people have off. But I know Black Friday, we'll be watching the forecast for Black Friday because some indications I don't have it on here, not in the 7 days. But there's a chance we could have more rain come in for Black Friday. But it's really uncertain at this point. I know earlier on today, some of the models were showing maybe stronger storms on Black Friday. They've kind of backed off of that for now. So we'll be watching that trend for you. And if there's something that really evolves in that, we'll have more on that on Tuesday, of course, here in the Weather Center. As we monitor things. We're not planning on any formal update next Thursday, by the way. I know we're getting kind of ahead of ourselves, but just with that being Thanksgiving. But we'll be here. We're always here no matter what. We've covered every tornado warning storm in our area over the last 3 years. So no matter what weather brings here, we'll be here on all the different platforms as necessary here in the Weather Center. And if you're wondering what the platforms mean, as I go ahead and see Thanksgiving just one more time as I kind of go over these, we're talking about Facebook there at Casey Cloud WX, Facebook at Cloud Weather, Twitter at Cloud Casey there, and then YouTube, you have YouTube there at Cloud Weather now. That's something new. Twitch now is also at Cloud Weather. Let me pop these up just so you kind of get an idea on this. I'll go ahead and take the 7 day away, and as we continue to watch New York there, just so we make sure we get these out because these have changed recently. It's just Cloud Weather for Twitch there, and then cloudweather.com for the website. You can get all the links there at cloudweather.com and even that interactive radar. As we talked about, you can keep an eye on what's going on behind me here toward New York State. So we also have that automated Twitter account there where you get things like those freeze warning details there at Cloud_WX on Twitter. So all these different sources I know may do some special streams for Buffalo with that snow here on Twitter and YouTube here as we look ahead. Probably won't unless it's just it's something that we really think we need to share on Twitch and Facebook. Then we'll probably just confine that stream to Twitter at Cloud Casey and then YouTube there at Cloud Weather. Maybe some radar streams up toward Buffalo, depending on how treacherous and how dangerous things get with this dangerous lake effect snowstorm event there toward Erie County. People ordered to be off the roads because it's just going to be so dangerous out there. And again, what we saw with that event going back here in the timeline, I believe it was 2014, where we had just the incredible snowfall rate from the lake effect event. Then this isolated event that set on up there. We were talking about roofs collapsing because of the weight of the snow. It was just so heavy, and the models, the high-res models, have been really hammering the story home here toward western New York. So we really got to be watching there around Erie County, New York, some of the surrounding counties under this lake effect snow warning here. I mean, this is something that, I mean, I don't mention that wording very often there, but lake effect snow warning here in play. Areas like Lewis County, New York, as I'm looking at the chat here, Wyoming County, Niagara County. You kind of get the idea. Again, Erie County under this here. So just be mindful here. These are some very heavy rates. Temperatures in the upper 20s here. And we're watching Buffalo, all these different communities here very carefully. You see Lackawanna there. You see Williamsville. You see Lancaster. You see Kenmore. Fort Erie there. Just going to be watching these rates. You see the threat here even extending, maybe not as much of an extent here in the amount. You see Rochester not under that type of specific warning there toward the east there as we're getting out toward some of these different zones there toward Monroe County, New York. But you can see here toward the west, you see around some of these areas here in Genesee County. That's going to be watching this threat here as they get really tight on some of these heavier snowfall bands right now. Again, watching things here taking off the precipitation type because these are some heavy downpours. We've even had thunder snow reported. I mean, that just shows you how dynamic things are with this setup here toward western New York, folks. We just got a new mesoscale discussing here. Okay, that's the same one we were looking at earlier, but I'll go ahead and kind of go over that real quick here. Just kind of caught my attention on other source, and then we'll wrap this on up here on this Thursday. But you see some of that lightning here. You see some of that lightning over the water. I mean, that's just crazy to see. If you see these little bolts here, let me go ahead and point them out for you here if you can't see them. West of Dunkirk there. You see there's one just above this hand, and then another one further on out. And then again, this mesoscale discussing pretty heavy snow. I mean, they're talking about 2 inch plus snow rates expected to accompany the snow band there with the reduced visibility and crippling travel conditions possible through the night. Very dangerous. Please, if you have relatives up there, encourage them to stay off the road. I mean, some areas, again, they're told they can't be on the road because it's just too dangerous for everybody involved. Public safety hazards. So, again, we'll keep our eyes on this situation there toward Erie County, New York. But I think let's go ahead and bring it back to home now. We'll see our view. You see some light precipitation maybe trying to come on down, but you see these cooler air, these cooler temperatures trying to come on into the picture here. That freeze warning here in play here for some of our different counties here in South Georgia, like Ware, toward Waycross, toward Albany. So be careful there. No freeze warning toward the Florida counties, but some patchy frost possibilities. So we'll be watching all that here for you in the Weather Center. I think that pretty much does it here on this Thursday. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud. Try to have a great weekend. Have a great night out there. Local conditions here will just be kind of cool at times. Maybe some rain again coming in at times toward the weekend, toward Saturday, toward Sunday. Pace is not overwhelming, but they're going to be there. So we'll be watching. Just have that jacket on hand. But, of course, the big weather story nationally is that western New York situation with that lake effect snow. Just the incredible amounts anticipated already starting to add up there. But, again, just have a great night.